It was not a good day for Gary Gensler and the SEC. Gary tried to tweet about crypto. He got a whole lot of backlash and a lot of rebuttals from members of Congress and people in the industry. Also, the SEC got called out at the digital summit by both members of the industry and different associations and members of Congress as well. Also, I want to talk to you guys about Sam Bankman-Fried, FTX CEO. He's just stated he's willing to spend up to $1 billion in the upcoming elections. Guys, crypto is going to be a big part of the political landscape, guys, and this makes me very bullish. And I also want to talk about a big update to the XRP ledger, and it's going to be a significant one. Let's break it down. Welcome back to the Thinking Crypto podcast, your home for cryptocurrency news and interviews. If you are new here, please hit that subscribe button. Also hit the thumbs up button and leave a comment below. If you're listening on a podcast site, please give me a 5-star rating. Quick word from our sponsor, and that is Linkto, which makes private equity investment easy for non-hedge funds, non-investment firms. So you could be an average Joe who's an accredited investor, and you can invest in the crypto companies building the infrastructure. This, of course, has not been easily available to many of us, right? You had to be part of, once again, a hedge fund, an investment firm, and whatever it may be. Well, Linkto makes it very easy to do so. And I've often talked about how these hedge funds and big investment firms and whales are double dipping. They're buying the tokens, but also investing in the companies building an infrastructure. So with Linkto, you have the opportunity to take a position just like these big time players, guys. And they have crypto companies and tech companies. So some of the crypto companies include Ripple, BitPay, Uphold, BlockFi, Dapper Labs. They have Abra and many more. So be sure to check out Linkto, link in the description. Now, let's look at the crypto market here, guys. Nothing much happening with the price as we've been talking about. Bitcoin is moving sideways. It's just chopping and bouncing between 28,000 and 30,000. It's really, kind of boring, if I want to put it that way. And, we've been looking at different scenarios of how things could play out, whether it be this is the bear market. We're in crypto winter. The price may fall a bit more, and we got maybe a year and a half to get out of this. Or Bitcoin is building support levels, finding its bottom. It could retrace the 55 to 58K or go to new all-time highs. So those are the three scenarios. We'll see what happens. And I've been following Credible Crypto, who's been, on the macro perspective. He's been sharing for a long time that we still have the fifth wave to go where Bitcoin will hit a new all-time high later this year into 2023. We'll see what happens. I certainly hope that happens. And then we have a big alt season. And he's saying, though, in the short term, that we could see Bitcoin, drop down to 26, 25K before starting to work its way up. So prepare for more volatility is the TLDR here. And we'll see, what happens. But, if you're in a financial position, and I highly recommend you do your own research. This is not financial or investment advice. Remember, DCA, buy the lows, accumulate in the lows, right? And wait for the bull cycle to come back. That's how you make money in the market. That's how I've made money in the market. I've been here since 2016. You got to be able to stomach the volatility, the lows, because this market swings very high, unlike anything else, right? I think we've all seen that. And it's a global market. So a lot of capital can come into this market. That's why it has a really unlimited potential. And with the hard cap of many cryptos, right? There's not like an inflationary supply, there's deflationary supply. So keep that in mind, guys. Huge opportunity, and we're still very early. Now, something else that's interesting from tweeted here by Rect Capital, stating the following. Historically, Bitcoin tends to bottom at or below the 200-week moving average. The 200-week moving average thus tends to offer opportunities with outsized ROI for Bitcoin investors. So when Bitcoin touches that 200 MA, usually that's a great accumulation phase. And then after that, we usually see a run up to a new, whether it be a short-term bull market, like, for example, what happened in 2019, and then or a major bull cycle, right? So certainly the two scenarios which I talked about, where Bitcoin does a retracement to, let's say, 50, 55K, or it goes to new all-time highs, those two right there playing out would make you a nice return. Obviously, the latter gives you a higher return, but the retracement itself could give you a return. So you could buy at this point. So we'll see what Bitcoin does, how farther down below the 200-week moving average that it wicks down below. So wicks below it are the point of peak opportunity. So how much does Bitcoin wick below the 200-week AMA? And he did a full thread here. And we'll have to wait and see, guys. There's a lot of theories, a lot of thesis out there. And I just want to point you to some of these different factors, right? Based on how things are progressing. My hope is that Bitcoin at least does its retracement if it's not going to new all-time highs. Absolutely, I want the new all-time highs, but that's not very likely when we look at probability, right, of where we are given the macro factors, but we'll see what happens. All right, let's jump into the news. Gary Gensler, SEC chair, today decided to tweet a video, and with the text, in his tweet that says the following: while crypto markets may offer new ways for entrepreneurs to raise capital and for investors to trade, we all still need investor and market protections. Let's not risk undermining 90 years of securities laws and create some regulatory arbitrage or loopholes. Now, we know this is BS. And I, in fact, tweeted, regarding this in the same thread. I said, you have failed. Stop talking about regulations and actually provide the market with clear regulations. We need an updated Howey test for crypto and digital assets, not a test from the early 1900s, where they couldn't even fathom crypto and blockchain technology, right? It's ridiculous. There needs to be an updated test. And this is the battle that we're fighting here, guys, in which Gensler is getting called out by the industry and many folks. And in fact, Congressman Warren Davidson, who's, of course, been fighting for crypto regulations, he responded to this video, retweeting it, saying, crypto is no longer new. SEC and CFTC have not worked with Congress to provide regulatory clarity. That's very telling. The onus falls, the majority of it falls on the SEC. Yes, the CFTC has a part to play, and they've been trying to, but the SEC and Gensler, he's been trying to maintain that power and not give it up. He's even asking for more money, right? Instead, the SEC has selectively enforced opaque regulations, issued fake guidance, and tied legit companies up with endless paperwork drills, driving Americans offshore. Sad. So I love this. He's getting called out. And once again, I keep telling you guys, we got to fight. Keep tweeting. Keep contacting your representatives. Keep putting out content. We need to make sure Gensler is feeling the pressure from all angles here. So Stuart Alderati of Ripple weighed in. He said, we all agree that consumer and market protections are needed, but saying that every token besides Bitcoin, in parentheses, he puts maybe, is a security is a combination of bad law and bad policy, all in the name of the SEC's political land grab over this asset class. The SEC's jurisdiction is not limitless. Absolutely right. A lot of this is Gensler, I think, protecting the incumbents, right? We call him Goldman Gary for a reason. He's protecting a lot of these bankers because the money is leaving their pockets, going to stable coins, going to crypto. And guess what? We don't need to go through Goldman Sachs for that. We don't need to go to JP Morgan. It's removing the gatekeepers, right? You don't need to be an accredited investor to buy tokens. They don't like that, guys. That's a lot of power and capital leaving them. And Gensler, once again, he's a Goldman guy. He's going to protect them. And he's doing, and part of it is also power. He doesn't want to give up the power. He also wants the treasury job. There's a lot of moving parts here. And he's going to try to shake down the different companies in the crypto market as much as he can before, I think, true regulations come. Now, attorney Jeremy Hogan tweeted the following in response to this. He says, in one of the statements that Gensler made in the video, Gensler said, we'll figure out how regulations work. We'll adapt where need be and where appropriate to achieve the core mission. Well, Jeremy Hogan said here, he says, SEC Chair Gensler said, come in and we'll figure out how regulations work. SEC 2023 budget requests $2.15 billion, and it can't be bothered to draft clear regulations for a new industry. That's what we are paying for, U.S. taxpayer. And I'm a U.S. Citizen, obviously, and resident, so my taxes are going to this bullshit, right? And we need to get this guy out. Now, here's an interesting statement, and I'm pleasantly surprised by Perianne Boring, who's the founder of the Digital Chamber of Commerce. I interviewed her, I think it was last year, but she's doing some great work to help push for clarity. She made a very, very bold statement today. The SEC is the #1 blocker to this industry. Wow. Talk about gloves off, right? Specifically calling him out, saying you're blocking this industry. Wow. I love it. I'm going to try to get her back on the show. This is awesome. So crypto executives agree that the government agencies need better defined roles when it comes to digital asset regulation. The SEC needs to define what a digital asset security is, Chamber of Digital Commerce had said. So this is great, guys. I love Gensler getting called out, more pressure. And this is, of course, was at the DC Blockchain Summit. In fact, Senator Cory Booker, all politics aside now, Democrat or Republican, that's not what I'm trying to call out here. But, he spoke there and shared his views on crypto policy and so forth. And here's one of the questions he was asked. Senator Cory Booker, when asked about more CFTC's jurisdiction over crypto, he said, yes, in fact, hell yes, it's clear. Ethereum and Bitcoin, which are the majority of crypto, are clearly commodities. They don't fall under the SEC's jurisdiction. Also alluded to Debbie Stabenow, the AG committee chair, being in on this push as well, which she's made somewhat clear in the past as well. Now, I know his statement kind of only talks about Bitcoin and Ethereum, but the fact is giving the CFTC more power, I think, is important, taking it away from the SEC or having more of a balance. So Gensler doesn't have all this power. Obviously, they need to talk about the other altcoins in the market, right? It's not just Bitcoin and Ethereum. They're legit projects, and I know they're scams, right? You go down to altcoin number 1,857, maybe that's a scam. I said maybe, right? But within the top 50, there are some super legit projects, obviously, that are going to change the world and be adopted by different companies and so forth. But guys, this is great. You have members of Congress taking notice. And here's also an interesting news from Senator Cynthia Lummis, who I've interviewed, and I'm going to try to get her back on the show. Well, June 7th, apparently her bipartisan Bitcoin policy framework, or crypto policy framework, I should say, will be released. And she's doing this with Senator Gillibrand. So, she tweeted out saying, appreciate all the patience. Pretty soon we iterate on this policy in public. More feedback welcome as we get it rolling. Guys, this is all good. And, I'm hoping they get it right. Now, with crypto and politics, guys, things are heating up. One of the things we've talked about on this channel is that the incumbents, the traditional finance and companies like banks and so forth, they totally outspend the crypto market. I can't remember the statistics, but it's ridiculous. They outspend us by a lot, and which makes sense. Crypto is still a nascent market, or is still young. But I think the infrastructure bill situation awoke a lot of crypto companies that they need to start lobbying. They need to start working with action committees and so forth. Well, FTX CEO Sam Bankman-Fried says he could spend a record-breaking $1 billion in the 2024 election. Guys, I want to break this down. There's a lot to this. So let me give you some more details. Democratic cryptocurrency exchange founder Sam Bankman-Fried says he expects to spend north of $100 million in 2024 with a soft ceiling of $1 billion. Guys, FTX, whether you love or hate them, their people have been working super hard for clarity. And Sam even testified before Congress last year. So I got to give them much respect, whether, he's a Democrat, whatever his political affiliation is. That's not my, topic, but that is what's highlighted. But here's what's going to happen with this guy coming out and saying $1 billion I'm willing to spend. Guess what? The ears of members in Congress are going to perk up, because we know how the game works, guys. In money, in politics, that's how it works in the United States. Campaign donations, right? A lot of these members want to get reelected. They need money and capital to do that. This is good, and it's coming from a crypto person. And I think we're going to see more and more of this. We got to outspend the banks. Unfortunately, that's how the system works. And we're getting there. Things are certainly shifting in that direction. So this is a big move, folks. And once again, I'm not saying he's going to give this money to Democrats or Republicans or whatever. That's to be seen. But as you can imagine, Republicans are probably going to approach him, right, and say, hey, we're going to help you do this, or we're going to help push this thing through. Let's work together. I'm sure Democrats, who maybe some who are on the fence, may be like, oh, okay, we got to talk to Sam. So you see the doors this opens up, the mindset and the attention it garners, right, guys? This is why this is significant. So Bankman-Fried, the 30-year-old founder of the cryptocurrency exchange FTX, said in a podcast interview released Tuesday that he expects to give north of $100 million in the next presidential election. And that's a soft ceiling of $1 billion, which with his spending likely to be higher on the higher end if former President Donald Trump runs again. That kind of money would be in a league of its own, said Alex Baumgart, a researcher with the campaign finance tracker Open Secrets. Bankman-Fried, who is estimated to be worth more than $20 billion, and says he has already given away more than $200 to various causes, cautions that his political plans are still in flux and will be contingent on what the landscape looks like. Guys, this is very, very bullish. Once again, all politics aside, I'm not saying, Democrats or Republicans or whatever it is. Look, I'm actually an independent, right? I go with who makes sense and who can do the best job. I know that sometimes it's not popular. People are very, hyper Democrat, hyper Republican, and so forth. That's how the world has been, for the past, I don't know, since the social media era, I think. But anyway, this is significant. Very, very significant. And I think we're going to see more people start doing this in the crypto industry. So, I think elections coming up, we're going to see more pro-crypto people. Check this out. Coinbase becomes the first Bitcoin and crypto company to enter the Fortune 500 list. Wow. That is a amazing sign of how the industry is growing. And there's going to be more crypto companies on that list, folks. In maybe 10 years time, the list is going to be heavily crypto and digital asset companies. So we're still very early. Now, WisdomTress seeks to spur finance's internet moment. Firm's head of digital assets products says the company is focused on improving usability for the next 2 billion users. This is why I keep saying, and I know some of you are like, oh, dude, you say this all the time. We haven't hit mass adoption yet. We have not hit that full mainstream adoption yet, guys. I think that, folks compare the adoption of crypto with the internet. We're halfway there, and there's still ways to go. So it's happening. We're in the process of doing it, but we haven't hit it yet. That's why there's still significant money to be made here. And if you're patient and have a macro outlook, you can absolutely make significant money. So as WisdomTress gets set to launch a mobile app allowing users to hold tokenized assets, the company's product head of digital assets said, such an offering would serve as a catalyst for the finance sector to have its internet moment. Jason Guthrie, who worked at Macquarie Group, saying that right, and Deutsche Bank before joining WisdomTress in 2017, told Blockworks during the permissionless event in Palm Beach last week that financial services companies have not yet dramatically changed their business models amid digitization in the space. He says, I don't think financial services had its internet moment. He said, it's not like it's Facebook distributing advertising or Netflix distributing television. there were huge disruptive revelatory uses of that technology, and finance hasn't got it. So we haven't hit that, that moment yet for crypto, but it's coming, guys. And when I see things like this, and these folks preparing once again for the next 2 billion users, that is significant, shows we got ways to go. So, you may ask, well, how do you strategize for that, Tony? Well, I've got crypto that I'm holding forever. I plan to give to my daughter or something. Is it a lot? No, I certainly want to be taking profits because I have plans to use that cash, right? I'm not going to put it in the bank to sit to get debased by inflation. I'm going to invest. I'm going to buy real estate. I'm maybe start a business or something. I don't know, pay off some debt, and make myself more financially free, and certainly put some of that money in other investments to make it work, right? And earn more passive income and things like that. But there's going to be some I'm not going to trade, right, or sell. I'm just going to leave it and see what happens, right? What if Bitcoin hits $1 million in 10 years, right? I want to have some Bitcoin, right? And other cryptos as well. What if Ethereum hits, I don't know, $100,000? I'm just throwing it out there. It could be other cryptos as well, but we just don't know. So you want to hold on to that, and certainly part of my strategy will be to borrow against those assets and get loans if I needed, line of credit, whatever it may be. So there's a lot of opportunity here, guys. I'm really thinking that far ahead. But yes, I want to make money in the short term as well. So I said at the beginning of the video, Bitcoin retraces, I'm taking some profits. Certainly if it goes to new all-time highs, I am taking profits, especially if the alts start popping off as well. Taking profits on XRP, Ethereum, Cardano, those things that are in my portfolio, Algorand, right? And I'll be selling off certain alts that I've been holding for a long time, since like 2017. So that's just my strategy, guys. Obviously not financial advice. You have to do what's best for you, but definitely study the internet's growth and tech stocks and how people made money with those, and have the same mindset and macro outlook and understanding the crypto markets and the bull and bear cycles. And what are you comfortable with in taking profits, and what are you comfortable with holding long term for future bull markets? So important things to think about, and you can map it out in a spreadsheet, put together your plan, and just know what you're doing, right? And have an idea. Anyway, guys, that's the news. Let me know what you think. Leave your thoughts and comments below. Hit the thumbs up button, share this video, and I'll talk to you all later.